Let's get into it. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Diana. I'm an energy intuitive psychic medium and somatic spiritual mentor. I work with self led women to help them really uncover what is like creating resistance in their life and how can we clear through that so they can come back to their intuition and joy. I work with creatives, visionaries, psychics, practitioners, doctors, leaders, all sorts of people. So, I can't wait to jump in. So let's jump in. I left off with Virgo. I want to jump into Libra. And what we're going to do is I'm pulling an oracle card for my actual readings. I really don't use oracle cards. I use them as the law of attraction for confirmations, for affirmations. But for the purpose of this reading, I am using astrological archetypes. As you guys know, I am not an astrologer. I am an energy intuitive. I'm reading the energy of the season and I'm using these astrological archetypes so you can connect with that piece of yourself. I would ask you to listen to your sun sign and listen to your rising sign because those are going to tell the full story as to how things are showing up for you. Let's tap into the new moon in Taurus energy. If you heard part one, you know Taurus is asking you what you're willing to commit to, what you're willing to be loyal to. And as we may or may not know, with the new moon is the moon that you can't see in the sky, right? Like she is working on her abundance. She is working on herself. She is tapping into manifestation. She is tapping into her desires, her wants. And if we know anything about Taurus energy ruled by Venus, it is the planet of love and beauty and abundance. So, Taurus is asking you where in your life, that thing that you want to call in, where are you not being fully committed to that version of yourself? Where are you not being fully in alignment with that piece of yourself that you want to call in? So it's asking you to be fixed, be a little stubborn. That's why sometimes I love and hate about Taurus because my husband is a Taurus. So I get both sides of the spectrum is that they're so committed to their vision. They're so committed and so focused, but sometimes to their dismay, right? We're not going to talk about that, but that's the shadow side, right? When you're in full alignment with your Taurus energy. And again, I am not an astrologer, but everybody has Taurus in their chart. So just look to see where it sits in your chart. And I don't really get into that because that's not really my cup of tea. But let's get into it. I left off with Virgo, so I'm going to pick up now with Libra. So let's get into it and see what I want to say about Libra. I love this. And it says stillness, skull cap. And it's this like picture of a skull split in half. We look here. And again, I am using the Adriana Ayales, the Herbal Astrology deck. This is a very grounding herb deck. I love this because she's a master astrologer. So all the cards you pull here are from some sort of herb. In the booklet, you can actually read about what the herb serves, and then you can read the message from the herb. So as y'all know, I've been in my lineage, we've worked with herbs and for ancestors for decades and for millennia, who knows how far that goes back. So I'm really connected to this deck. So anyway, back to the deck, skull cap, stillness, Libra. And it's like, it's interesting because when we think of Libra, we think of the balance, we think of the scales, right? And even though this is not a scale, it is two pieces of one side, and one side looks a little bit unbalanced. And there's like fullness of there's a fullness here. And what I love about this, when we think about the sister sign of Taurus, the sister sign of Taurus is Scorpio. And what do we have here? A little scorpion. So what I am tapping into this card and what I'm feeling into for Libra as we think about the Taurian energy is, where are you not balancing? Where there's not enough balance in your life because you're not staying committed to that vision and you're tipping the scales on one way or another. And you're like, you want to be in your values, you want to be in your fairness. But there's one side that's calling your attention more. Where is that in your life? That you're tipping the scale too much on one side and not giving it to the other, where you're kind of feeling fractured And what you're actually being called to do is create stillness, to go ground into the earth, to create stillness, to create clarity. A lot of people get scared of stillness because they don't know what to do with themselves. They don't know what to do with their inner thoughts. They don't know what this all actually unravels and what does this actually all mean. But when you stillness is one of the most beautiful ways for you to connect to self, for you to connect to that divinity, that source, that creation, that desire, those manifestations. So come back to stillness, Libra. All right. We are going to move into Scorpio, which is interesting because it was like that little scorpion was there. And I love this. Um, I'm thinking of a Scorpio that I know right now that's having a good old time right now on some mushrooms and some psilocybin. And if you look closely, and it says commune, there is this beautiful woman. She's calling out to the moon. She's topless. I love this. And there's a fairy sitting on a mushroom. And then there's a bunch of people communing. And there's a bowl. There's a bowl in this card. How beautiful. So when we think of, we just pulled this other card. I know this for Libra was a Scorpio. And now we're pulling the bowl card, right? And as I said, the sister sign of Taurus is Scorpio. And where they're saying commune. In community is how you're going to be able to get grounded, tap into your network, tap into your community. Sometimes scorpions want to just sting, right? And like be so focused. One thing about Scorpios is that they're very, very focused. They're very goal oriented, that sometimes they forget that their community is also part of their vision. Their community, your community, so I'm speaking to you, Scorpio. Your community is part of your vision, is part of your growth, is part of manifesting that dream, is part of staying committed to the vision. And fucking play. Look, they're having a good old time playing or dancing or whatever it is that they're being called to do. So maybe take a little shroomy or not. Listen, don't come back for me saying Jessica told me to take some shrooms. But I will say is tap back into earth medicine, tap back into maybe cacao or whatever it is, that earth medicine that you have inside of your body. All right, we just did Scorpio, and I'm feeling very Huarte Mercado right now for all my Latinos in the house. Okay, like I am feeling like I am going to start doing these and I'm going to be channeling Mr. Huarte Mercado. So I'm going to be pulling now for Sagittarius. Let's tap into some Sag energy and seeing what wants to be shared today. Ooh, and I love this. And it says reishi, and it says retreat. So I'm really not familiar with this, but I've seen them grow on trees, and there is a bear. And one thing we know about Sagittarius is that they're the philosophers, the educators, and they're always retreating within to look outward. You're always retreating within to see where there is expansion, where there's an opportunity. What I love about Sag energy is that it's ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is the planet of expansion. And when we think about expansion, expansion isn't just for manifesting, expansion is whatever is in your mind. So, what this is telling me is for you to retreat within, for you to come back to self and understand what is that vision? What is that thing I want to manifest that isn't just brought by like everything that I'm consuming, everything that I'm seeing in the world, everything that is like, because we're always reacting, right? We're always consuming information. But what this is asking for you to retreat inward, for you to come back to self, to be like the bear, Sagittarius, be like the bear and retreat inward and like hibernate a little bit with the Taurian energy. What the Taurian energy is about, what am I not committing to? What am I seeing in my visions? Like, how can I be loyal to my commitments? So how can you be loyal to your commitments of retreating, of resting, of hibernating, of listening to self? All right, we're going to move into Capricorn energy. So let's move into Cap and let's see what Cap wants to share. And I'm going to pull another card because we pulled this. You know what? No, I pulled this from one of the other signs as well. But hey, if this is what wants to be, Spirit wants to share for Capricorn, inner peace. Okay. Inner peace is this beautiful man. He's resting inside of a chameleon forest with some deers, right? And when we think about Capricorn energy, we think about their inner peace through their financial abundance, through structure, through building foundations. That's what they're known for. So when we're thinking about the Taurian energy and Capricorn, inner peace, where are you maybe not staying committed to that vision and you're not giving yourself the inner peace that you need in order to bring the structure that you need? Because you know you thrive on structure. So, where in your life maybe are you being even too rigid? Are you being all about the structure and you're not being enough about being in solitude and coming back to self and grounding in some chamomile? Chamomile, when we think about chamomile, it's that relaxing herb. It's that tea that we drink when we want to come back into like, we want to rest, we want to go to bed. What I'm hearing is Capricorn, you're so focused on all the details of the structure that you're not having enough inner peace and you're not resting enough. I said what I said. All right, we're going to move into Aquarius. Oh, I love Aquarius. My best friend, he's Aquarius. And I will never tell him this, but if he's watching, I doubt he'll watch this. But in Vedic astrology, I'm actually an Aquarius. But that blew my mind away. So I followed Western astrology. So I am a Pisces sun. But I have a lot of Aquarius in my chart. So let's see what the inventor of Aquarius, the innovator, says. Ginkgo, breakthrough. And this feels a very Aquarian energy, very royal. So I'm going to show you this card. And ginkgo, I remember my mother giving me this herb when I was little for my brain, for my power, for my solar plexus, for my stomach. It was brain gut health when we think of ginkgo. And it says breakthrough. So, Aquarius, sometimes y'all stay very rigid, very like the sword, ready to cut people off. Why don't we use this sword instead of to retreat and like go at people, but to create a breakthrough? And maybe that is by going at somebody. But we're talking about your visions and we're talking about your dreams and we're talking about that thing you want to manifest. You're trying to call in abundance, right? You want to call in that Taurian energy of staying committed to your vision. So what do you actually need to break off that's in your favor that you're too scared to break off? Okay, I'm going to leave that one there. Now we're going to move to the save the best for last, I want to say, as a Pisces sun. We're going to move into Pisces energy. Let's see what we want to tell these little fishes. And we got this card before for Virgo, which is very interesting because Virgo is a sister sign of Pisces. So the fact that we pulled the same card now for Pisces, when we think about Rose, we're thinking about love, right? And Pisces, we are the healers of the mind, of the subconscious, of the dream state. We're always in our dreams sometimes, and we're looking for escape. So Taurian energy is asking us to ground into that dream. How can you actually put legs on that dream? How can you actually ground into the earth of that dream? How can you ground that through self-love, through partnerships, through community, through collaborations? How can you use love or Rose as a way for you to connect to self, as a way for you to connect to your dreams, as a way for you to connect to the other dimensions of all the infinite possibilities that are possible for you? So I'm going to leave it at that. I finished all the signs. Drop in and let me know if any of this resonated with you. I would love to know what sign you are. Again, your sun sign and your rising sign. And I'm going to also say that, speaking of abundance, I just got a booking for my house in Poconos. Cha-ching, a little Airbnb thing came through. Yes. So I'm going to come back and say, again, my name is Jessica Diana. I am a somatic spiritual mentor, psychic medium, and energy intuitive. I do offer readings. I have one-to-one readings. They're the golden of the crest of the crest. It is a psychic mediumship reading along with channeling, and I use oracle cards to do confirmations and affirmations, but it's not the basis of the work. Go on my site, take a look. But I am launching an offering coming tomorrow called 188 Divine, where you can connect with me via voice note. You ask one question, or you share a word, or an angel number, or a symbol, or something that's been coming through to you, and I will respond to you in a voice note, in a channeled message. This offering, I had said earlier that it would be for 2 weeks and I was going to give for 50% off. I decided it's going to be a summer fling. For the whole summer, you'll be able to connect with me, and I'll probably do limited spots per month for that service. And so I will open that up tomorrow and share more about that tomorrow. So if you're looking to connect with me, that is a beautiful way to do so. For those of you on Substack, I will share the links as soon as they're ready. And I love y'all. Have a really, really good weekend. Enjoy this new moon, super moon energy, and allow yourself to connect to your inner abundance. Allow yourself to flourish in who you are. Allow yourself to be the infinite possibility of everything that you are, of everything that, I'm not going to say that you can be, because you are. You're living presently. The past and the future is the present moment. So take a step forward into your present moment of self, of your expansion. All right, my loves, enjoy your weekend. Cheers. Bye. And bye.